from hypnosis. So hypnosis, speech inhibition, part 1. I am going to use this as evidence. Hypnosis has inhibited my ability to speak and repressed my memory to the extent, and I have to keep rewriting things because of the hypnosis too, which is what I'm explaining, right? This is evidence of that. So, I mean, like, that's, you see it, right? You see it. I can notice it. Like the hypnosis. That's what I mean by I can notice it. I can notice the post-hypnotic suggestions. So then I can point them out when I notice them. And the one there, it was like the hand thing, right? And trying to get me to feel aggravated about it. Because like when I interrupt their patterns with the post-hypnotic suggestions that they're eliciting out of me, it doesn't exactly work the way that they're hoping it does. Especially with the speech pattern interruption phrases. So the hypnosis, let's see, I'm going to start reading what I'm writing. The hypnosis has inhibited my ability to speak and repress my memory. Wow, to the extent I began writing, since it would be too noticeable. That I was hypnotized. To inhibit my ability to write. I can write faster than this too, by the way. I'm just pointing that out. So the slower I'm writing, the more evidence it is. A method I discovered. And also if I'm not simultaneously reading and writing at the same time, because that is multitasking. That is the example multitasking that I was specifying, which it's happening right now. Because I can't even read while I'm talking. Reading, writing, and talking, right? It's normal to be able to do all those things. And it might be slowed, but not completely inhibited like it is right now. A method I discovered. There we go. I discovered. To compensate for this was to record myself. There we go, which is what I'm doing right now. Writing because there were, I'm going to take off my jacket too. Ow. Witnesses, or if I was recording myself writing. I have some evidence substantial evidence. Oh, I have overwhelming. There we go. Evidence. Here of hypnosis inhibiting my handwriting and some drawings ow, my hand cramped there. My back. Some drawings that I was okay, this is the hypnosis inhibiting me. You can visibly see it as well. That I was hypnotized to draw to distract me. And this is where it was. Draw to distract me. Distract me. Wow, the hypnosis actually inhibits my ability to write very to an extreme extent, by the way. I thought I would point that out. Hypnosis is really being used to abuse me a lot. To distract me from the hypnosis inhibiting my handwriting. Ow. Which I will elaborate in another video. And that's an example of how I described the pattern interrupt technique that, was used with the hypnosis to try to make me very repetitive and even incomplete speech patterns. Sorry about that. And even, from leaving out grammatical, repressive memory for the grammar. Wow, the hypnosis is being used to abuse me a lot. So I'm not going to tolerate it, and that's why I'm going to be that's why I'm making this video, because the hypnosis is inhibiting me to this extreme extent that I'm not able to write. I'm not even able to read right now because the hypnosis is inhibiting me so much. Which I will elaborate in another video. There we go. I need to write faster. That's an example of it too. I just want to point that out. This is not tolerable. I was also there we go. I was also hypnotized to not drink water. And this is an example of how abusive they are. I was also hypnotized not to drink water. Unless I would notice I wasn't drinking enough water. Notice I wasn't drinking enough water. And also they did this to financially exploit me too. Because how they did this to financially exploit me was they were like Drinking, like the hypnosis is trying to trying to distract me while I'm talking. So I would write a different word from unless I would notice I wasn't. What? Drinking? Notice drinking enough. What? This is like and that was a couple examples. So they have these hypnosis cues to program my behavior. It seems almost every few minutes. It's like having Tourette syndrome. It's horrible. That literally makes it look like I have Tourette syndrome while I'm talking. Wow. Unless I would notice I wasn't drinking enough water. There. See what I mean? Because like I refused to elicit the emotional response, so then I was hypnotized like, see, there. I wasn't drinking enough water. Unless someone also noticed I wasn't drinking enough water. Sorry, this is intolerable. I need to write faster until someone else would notice I wasn't drinking enough water. Come on, write faster, Matt. Write faster. Sorry, write faster. The hypnosis is inhibiting me because I'm saying it. Drink enough water. No. See, unless someone else would notice I wasn't drinking enough water. There. Again, I'm pointing it out. It's like having Tourette syndrome. There's these specific patterns. It's like one after another when I keep resisting it and pointing it out. So then I'd be able to point out like 2 or 3 of the like 7 that I would that I'd be hypnotized to elicit in like under a minute. That's what I mean by like Tourette syndrome. And I mean, not necessarily exactly like that, but I mean, it's kind of very that's another post-hypnotic suggestion. So they did this because the more I would resist the post-hypnotic suggestions, the more angry it would. I would typically you would expect a person to be, and the more insane and irrational you would expect a person to look. That is very abusive. I was hypnotized to elicit several post-hypnotic suggestions. This is like one after another type of thing. Is there a word for that? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. See, and I just looked at the dictionary for one after another, right? And I found the word successive. And I was like, okay, do I want to use that one, right? And I was trying to look it up, and then it repressed that from my memory, so that I was about to go back, and then I was able to remember it before I went back because I was just going to be able to get it anyways. So successive order like and this is where it's very, very noticeable, like 5 to 10. I might want to say approximately. Hypnotized to elicit approximately 5 to 10 post-and-hoc suggestions. This is a really good example. Wow. Successively. In a successive order. One after another. And that's how they did it. That's how they did it. I was hypnotized to elicit 5 to 10 post-and-hoc suggestions in a successful order, one after another. One after another. And this would be to conceal evidence of competency and sanity and competency. There we go. See? That's ridiculous. Wow. Holy cow. That's kind of cool that I got that written down, though. Like, I am so glad because I need that so bad. Unless I would notice I wasn't drinking enough water, unless someone else would notice I wasn't drinking enough water, or unless they would get caught for it. There we go. Or unless they would get caught for it. Ah, they elicited. They most of the post-hypnotic suggestions were like that. I am so glad I get to expose this now because this is bad. With similar conditions. Most of the post-hypnotic suggestions were presented with similar conditions for inhibiting speech. So then, there we go, speech, done. And, see, this is what I mean because I just keep, like, noticing it. Whenever I notice, too, that makes sense. Wow, that's a really good cue. Because they're trying to also condition me to respond, like, with anger. And with it being successive, it would be antagonizing. You know, because the succession of the post-hypnotic suggestions would basically cause the first of all, it's repressing my memory. Wow. The succession of the post-hypnotic suggestions would basically cause an antagonizing effect. It would multiply. It would increase. That's shit crazy when I'm doing all that stuff, right? The succession was also intended to antagonize me. Wow, the hypnosis is inhibiting me right now. The succession was also intended to antagonize me by increasing with each one, right? Progressively arousing emotions. In a manner that would progressively arouse emotions. There it is. That's an example. That heavy breathing. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Wow. I hate this. Oh, okay, that makes sense. This is ridiculous. I have to erase multiple times because since I've re-articulated that myself, the issue was with that's like really not that's really sorry about that because I mean that thing doesn't exactly work the same way it used to, right? It's like having Tourette syndrome. Same with the heavy breathing, unless they would get caught for it. Um, Again, I apologize. Posted the wrong suggestion. They inhibited my ability to speech with similar. Oof.